Now, as we continue to bring you the news from around the different clubs in the Women's National League this year, we turn our attentions west to the city of the Tribes and Galway, and we're joined by their player, Chloe Singleton. Chloe, you're very welcome to the programme.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I've just been reliably informed off air by Steph that you're a former roommate of hers on international duty. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was grand. It was a nice, easy roommate to have,
You have to say that.
I think both of us weren't really in the room much, but no, it was nice. She kind of settled me in, and it was nice to hear her stories and stuff. So yeah, I think it was nice to share the room with her.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more maybe about your international experience in a little while. But first of all, let's talk about Galway and obviously pre-season. It's up and running. We're finished. We're a couple of days away from the first games of the season. How are things been going down in Galway?
Yeah, I think we're all really excited now to kind of get things going. I think we had a good pre-season. I think we've one loss there against Peamount, but other than that, I think we've Dave has come in and he's kind of been doing a few different things with us, a few different systems. But no, I think everyone's just excited now to get going and to kind of just see how the season pans out, and hopefully we can actually do the full season without any stopping and starting like last year.
Yeah, that's kind of the wish for everybody, really, isn't it? Just to kind of get through the season, just with a game every week will be brilliant, not to have to worry about whether you're going to have a game or not. Let's talk about some of the games, I suppose. I saw the game down in Athlone. We talked about it on the show last week. The weather conditions have not been ideal for some of your fixtures. That one in particular, it looked like you were playing in the middle of a cyclone.
Yeah, the weather proved fairly bad that night. The wind was nearly like another player. Nearly on two different halves, because I think you said there in one of the podcasts last week, all the goals were scored in one net except for one, and yeah, I think the wind really did have a lot to play on that game. I think two of the goals were from direct free kicks, and the wind kind of helped along. But no, I don't like. Athlone are a good side. I think they prove very gritty. Like they're a very tough team to kind of break down. They can be very defensive. But no, we played them in Galway as well. But it's good to kind of get them under our belt as well, with considering the weather, because you're not always going to have the weather on your side. So I think it's good to kind of have that as well.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of the changes over the close season, most clubs have had a fair number of changes. Galway, obviously in there as well, with a load of different players in and out. A new goalkeeper has come in. What can you tell us about her? I suppose because you've lost the three keepers you had last year. Two gone to Athlone, Ria McPhilbin and Abigail O'Neill have both gone to Athlone, and Amanda Budden has gone to Shell. So what's the future like? Trish Fennelly, of course, has come in as well from, I suppose, after a season or two out in Cork City. So it's a lot of change in that position in particular in Galway.
Yeah, like I think we struggled towards the start of pre-season to kind of see where we were at, considering with a goalkeeper. We kind of, I think Billy was on the search for a while. With a few people coming in and out, we always had keepers training with us. We always had backup plan. But I think no, I don't know how he found Maja. I think she's Slovenian. He found her somehow, and no, she's been very good. She's very vocal, and she's not afraid to kind of come out. Kind of a lot of female keepers won't really come out, but no, she's been doing well, and she's kind of proven herself for that number 1 jersey. And Trish as well has experience under her belt as well. So no, I think it's panned out well. Like we were very unlucky to lose all three of the goalkeepers, but we've found some extra players. So no, I think it's been okay.
Steph, of course, you've had to battle with those opponents over the years. What are your thoughts on another international goalkeeper joining the league?
Yeah, look, it's great to see. It's great to see players wanting to come and play in the league. And as you say, Billy's obviously done a good job in trying to get the replacements in. Galway are always going to be a tough team to play against for anybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they fare out this season. You mentioned we played them on Paddy's Day. Actually, you're missing a few players. I know Shauna Fox wasn't there and Ciara Cormack, and so when you think about those players not being in the squad when we did beat them, it's going to be probably a different game in the season when you have your full strength squad. So look, I think he's a fair few players coming in, and I think as well Dave Bell coming in with Billy Cleary and Maz as well. You've got a good coaching staff behind us as well. So I do think Galway are going to be a big threat to everybody this season.
Yeah, some other names, I suppose, that caught my attention just from the list that came out from the FAI this week. Anna Fahy obviously has been impressing underage. Ruth Fahy back after an extended period out of the game as well. It's a very different look to Galway this year. David Bell, as yourself and Steph both mentioned in the dugout, along with Maz and Billy. What can we expect for people who are watching from the outside looking in?
Well, like, you know, as you said, it's a big change, but I think sometimes change can be good. I think last season we were very bubbly. We were kind of up and down. So I think what to expect. I think we should be expecting a good breakout from us. I think we should be where our hopes are to be into the top 3. We always said aim for the top 4, but I think this year we're pushing on aiming for the top 3. Because the likes of Dave, he's been a huge addition to the background staff, and he's implementing a lot of new ideas, and no, it's been very good. And the likes of Ruth, like, she's got a lot of experience as well, and she'd be very have a good brain, like, you know, for the football. But no, I think we are improving greatly, and I think, you know, the few months in pre-season have proved very well, and no, hopefully now we can just break into the top 3, and that's kind of what we're hoping for.
Yeah, you've spoken about the game you played last week on St. Patrick's Day. Steph's been very tight-lipped on the show about how Peamount have been preparing for the season. I think she thinks if we don't talk about it, people are going to think they're under the radar. That's not the case. What can you tell us about the game last week? How much are you prepared to put on the record about maybe how Peamount are faring out for this year, in your own opinion?
Well, yeah, obviously I wouldn't know much about it because we only played them once. But no, to be fair, it was a very tough game. I think it was, from my behalf, I think it was one of my toughest pre-season games so far. You know, Peamount are always going to be a good opponent to play against. They're going to be very tough. They always seem to have the edge over us. So hopefully coming into the season, like Stephanie said, we had a few players out. We had Shauna Fox, Ciara Cormack, and we also had Shauna Brennan, one of the young girls, out from injury as well. So hopefully coming into the season, you know, it'll be a bit of a tighter game. I think, you know, Peamount had a hold off us in the first half, definitely. I think the second half kind of took us until the second half to kind of get into it. But no, I think Peamount always prove very strong, and we just need to kind of get over that line of just kind of say to ourselves, you know, we're at that level as well now. So hopefully now when the season starts, we'll just get over that line.
We spoke briefly. Obviously, you were my roommate for one camp there. When was it? 2 years ago? A good while ago now, when Tom O'Connor was in charge.
Yeah,
I think
I think so.
before Vera came in. Obviously, Galway has always had some very good internationals. Ruth Fahy, Julianne Roche, to name a few. Maeve de Burke. Yourself, you've been in a couple of times. I think you've got a few players within the Galway squad who maybe have been on the brinks for the last few seasons. So, like yourself, Savannah McCarthy's been in and out. Shauna Fox as well. Chloe Maloney played underage. Do you think maybe this season you might see a couple more Galway girls coming through?
Definitely. I think the 2 younger ones, Therese and Shauna Brennan, they've been knocking around the senior doors as well. I think them 2 especially. I think Shauna Fox will have a good season this year as well. And the likes of Savannah, I think we'll all hopefully, you know, I think our aims, I don't know what their aims are personally, but as a group, we just want to kind of do well in the league. But I think definitely, I think a few of us deserve some sort of a call up, and the 2 younger ones have been phenomenal, like, you know, with the way they've been going on, and they've only come up last year, and I think they've played nearly every game with us since. But I think, no, I do think we deserve a bit of a chance, because we never really see a Galway player in with the senior squad in the last few years. We haven't really seen it. So no, I hope that's on the cards for a few of the girls.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think Shauna Brennan was been excellent last season. Actually, I voted for Young Player of the Year, very good player. And obviously Therese played in the home base game as well. But I agree, I think there are players within that Galway squad who probably deserve the opportunity to come up and obviously have maybe a training session that hopefully the home base sessions will get back in this season, and we might see a few more Galway players being given the opportunity.
Yeah, there's one person who has left the club that I think we actually invited her on the show before we realised she'd stepped away. Is Maeve de Burke has been a stalwart of that Galway side almost since the start. Of course, she did play abroad for a little while. How much of a loss is she going to be to that Galway team?
Yeah, I think she always brings a good amount of experience, and I think a lot of people look up to her. Me especially, I would kind of look up to her in games and stuff. I think she will be a huge loss, but I think, you know, the senior girls of the team now will have to fill that gap, the likes of Shauna Fox and Ciara Cormac and Ruth coming in as well, and Sav will all have to fill that gap. But she'll still be around, and she'll still be at all our games, I'd hope, anyways, cheering us on, and she'll still kind of be knocking on the door, hopefully, just kind of giving us that bit of energy.
Absolutely. One thing we haven't talked about on the show this year so far really is the introduction of the Under-19 League. What, if any, impact has that had on your preparations, having that extra cohort of players maybe that would have played under 17 over the last 2 years, still floating around the club and still kind of involved in the day-to-day stuff, or are they even, has it affected your pre-season at all?
Well, I think we have a few of the girls that would be with the Under-19s Galway team. I think we have a few of them in training with us, and it's good. It's good for them, to kind of be actually training, because obviously they're not back yet. And it kind of makes up our panel as well. And if we're struggling for a few weeks with injuries, it gives them a chance to kind of break into the team. And I think as well, if they're struggling to break into our team, if they're doing well with their own league, I think it'll take Billy and Maz and Dave to look at them and think, what, they could freshen up our team. I think it does. I think it will have a huge advantage on the whole league. I think all the teams will benefit hugely from them coming through. I think it's a good stepping stone anyways, in the right direction.
And there's also, I suppose, been a lot of talk in the men's game over the last few weeks about managerial appointments and who's in charge, who's picking teams. I suppose you're in a very unique situation in that 2 of last year's managers in the league are now both on the sideline for Galway. Is it very clear from a player's point of view who's in charge and how that's going to operate? Has that kind of addition of Dave Bell into the dugout, has that kind of worked from a player's point of view?
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of skeptical of how it would work, but no, I think it has added hugely. And I think, Billy's still the manager and he's still taking on that role very well. But I do think we needed to freshen things up, and Dave, he does things a lot differently. So it is going to be a bit different and it's going to take time to get used to. But no, it's been all smooth sailing so far, and it's everyone's just gelled so well, and everyone's getting on with Dave, and everyone seems to be enjoying his sessions. So I think it's been a very good addition, and I do think it was the right choice that Billy made, and probably would have been a difficult one as well, because Dave would be such a big personality and big coach, coming in. But no, it was a good decision, and I think we're all benefiting from it.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us, Chloe. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I'm going to be watching your games with interest as it kicks off this weekend. Obviously, you're at home to Cork on Saturday afternoon, and you'll be looking to start the season with a win against the Rebels. The very best of luck to you, and hopefully you'll be back giving a bit of a kick and a push to Stephanie at a corner in a couple of weeks' time.
Anyways.
Best of luck.
Thanks a million, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bonus points as well for saying you were able to quote previous episodes of the podcast. We like that around here.
I've been studying.
It doesn't transfer into the league table, but we like it anyway. So good bonus points from us.
Thanks, guys.